Okay, 6th of February 2024, Tuesday. Daily cap trade review for the ES and the NQ. Had a really bad, terrible day today. Down about 50 points on NQ. Took 5 trades, all 5 losses. Just kept on fighting it all day. Stopped being objective. Regardless, let's go with the plans first, what I had planned for the day, and then we will see what I actually did. So starting with the ES, actually both ES and the NQ had inside days yesterday. So short-term balance within a higher time frame raging bull trend, sort of to say, where they just keep accepting value higher, they break high and then keep accepting value higher. That is what has been happening over the past months, weeks, whatever. So recently broke out of this 9-day balance. Broke out again on Friday, accepted value on Monday, and then we're coming into Tuesday. So this 4960 region is important, which denotes the breakout of this entire 9-day balance before. This was supported last Friday after the breakout, and then this was supported Monday late afternoon after it was broken down initially. So this level stays important in the ES, and then if price were to stay above it, I would be targeting the previous day's high first and then go higher. And if this was to break down, I would target the previous day's low. Then we had the overnight low here, of course, at the time. This little itty bitty piece of this here, not in my plan, doesn't really matter. And then I had this region, but it never came into play today, so again, doesn't matter. And then overnight, before the open, they created a little 15-minute demand here. So even though that wasn't in the plan when I first created it, I put it right before the open because this is what actually happened. It broke below the support and it kind of ripped higher, 15 points higher, which is not bad considering it was still before the open. So simple plan for the ES. This little region now maybe until 54, 55, until 60. If we are above, go higher. If we break below and hold under, just go lower. Similarly, NQ had an inside day yesterday, so short-term balance, monitor for acceptance if it breaks out or breaks down. And the plan again was simple. NQ also had this late afternoon support on Monday and the same area that held last Friday. NQ still hasn't broken out of its entire range, so it's at the top of the range. So here is this little give and take between you being on the top edge of a balance, which suggests fading might be a better outcome since this is a rather large 2 weeks worth of balance range, and then you're on top of it. So it's a much better risk reward opportunity to go short rather than go long at the top of the balance. But also the last days have been so strong, it's very hard to be short at these prices given the strength line. So that's why I did not have any short plan from up top, and I really only wanted to buy dips if we were to come down here. So this was my initial level. If we were to open anywhere around this, I'll monitor what price does around here, and then what price does around there, and then we will assess whether we think we are going up or we think we are going down. And if it comes down, had this little 15-minute demand zone there, this one, and if this were to break as well, then there's this 30-minute zone that was made on last Friday. The thing that I did not take into consideration or missed, or basically the plan today was a little bit confusing, not properly ranked and distilled, way too haphazard with these two levels, with like 20 points between them, 20 points worth of dissonance between them, and this level was already completely used up yesterday. It was already waked, so I should have made some changes. I did not take that into consideration while making the plan, and ended up paying for that. But the basic plan was, this is my over under region. If we stay above, I'm looking higher. If we stay below it, I'm looking to go lower into this area, and many longs from here. And then if this were to break, longs from here. But again, as I said, this level already used, already waked, so not the best. And even though this one was fresh, I put it as minor because I was still interested mainly in this area, because it's a larger zone created on the day of the breakout. So there was this, there was some ranking and distilling. It just didn't work out the way it should be, and yeah, that was the plan. But let's go over what happened during the day and what I ended up doing. So the day opens up. NQ opens at its previous day's high. ES opens near its overnight low, overnight high, not too far away from its previous day's high. And even though I recognize that it's opening at the previous day's high, what I totally missed for some reason or the other, maybe I lost focus. Even though I was there, I just failed to recognize that it looked below its prior day's high and then it failed immediately. And this was a beautiful failed probe setup that I just did not even recognize in real time. It happened both on the ES and the NQ, and especially since yesterday or Monday was an inside day, this is such a beautiful setup. It's just classic, where it looks above the prior day's high. The prior day is an inside day. It breaks out and there is no continuation, there is no acceptance. You fade it to the other side, and even though I recognize that it's open where they're opening, this thought never even crossed my mind. Completely never even realized the setup, and yeah, that was that. So this was one missed opportunity. This is something I only realized in hindsight very late in the day. So I'm not aware of these failed probes happening anywhere where I'm taking a trade. So that is not creating any sort of issue while I'm taking whatever trades that I'm taking. They're all completely different sort of issues that came across. But something to notice, I completely missed this completely missed the setup. Not even just a setup, but completely missed the context clue that we actually peaked above the prior day's high in both the ES and the NQ, and we are selling off from there, and we are doing that in a pretty fast-paced, strong manner. So as you can see from the footprint, it's coming fast, and this piece of context I missed. And now we are here at this first test of the support area, from where I take the first long, process based, nothing wrong with that. I take a loss, no big deal, and absolutely fine. But things started to change from here, even though this was process based and I was absolutely fine with this one. And then it breaks the support, it goes back up, and I have a recency bias in my head where something similar happened yesterday in NQ, and that trade ended up working out after. So now I have this recency bias that maybe because this happened yesterday, this will also happen today, and this is where the beginning of my day worsening began, started, whatever, however I should frame that sentence. This is the origin from where things started to go wrong. So I take that first loss, 10 point, no big deal. It was process based, absolutely fine. And now, when I took this first loss, I'm still looking for a long because it's above my level. I still don't know about this context clue. So something that I missed, regardless, still looking for longs. If it provides another entry, but now it breaks the level, so there's no entry for me, which is what I recognize on the hard right edge. But then again, I have that recency bias also in my head, and then it comes back down, and I take this long again, and this is absolutely no setup because it again breaks the level, and this trade is so bad in so many ways because this was an emotional decision where I had recency bias, and I wanted to make this loss back that I took on the initial first process based trade, and now it's just the context clue that it doesn't know, so that doesn't matter at this point of time. But what's really clear and really evident, it broke the level. It's underneath support, so clearly marked prior to support. It's underneath support, and I am buying underneath support once it has broken support. So it's the very basics of trading. It's not a mistake that is worth making. Although when I was here, again, the recency bias and the want to make this money back was so strong, I did not recognize this that it was under support. I recognize it was under the level, but with that recency bias being so strong, and with my wanting to make this loss back so strong, I totally just did not see this, even though it's clearly marked. Like I literally did not see it. That is there. And obviously took a loss on this, again 10 points. So. And yeah, the risk is managed, but it's just it's a trade so bad that it wasn't worth the risk. It will never be worth the risk. This trade is so bad. It's just it's a mistake that even a beginner wouldn't make, and I ended up making it. But yeah, really bad trade, and that was where all the problems started for the day. So now we are in, the selling is heavy, of course, and I'm making stupid mistakes like buying under support, which I still don't know at this point of time. I only realized it later that, okay, I bought it under my level, but even within that level, there was this clearly marked support, and we are underneath it. So this should, in theory, act as resistance, which it did. And where I should have gone short, I was going long, and it's just absolutely stunningly terrible. And now that I have these two losses, I see this selling, and then because my plan is a little bit here and there, it's not the most clear plan. It's messy. Now I just all of a sudden, while I see this and I'm not in a good state where I've taken two losses already, and one of them being really, really bad, I just discard this area because it says minor on my thing. It's like I would rather it come here than try from here. And what ended up happening, this happened to be a very good trade, which I obviously did not take because I started picking and choosing. I was in an emotional state of mind. It was not an objective state of mind where I could clearly see what was happening. And I paid for it today rather badly. And then again, this just shows the lack of clarity in my plan because now it again overshoots the level, but then it's almost at the main area from where I want to go, from where I want to buy. And now at this point of time, having these two losses, watching this one go by, I'm at a point where I just can't see what's happening. And it's literally how it says in the book Trading in the Zone, where your mind just blocks everything and you just can't see what's happening. And today, pretty much for the very first time, I felt that exact thing where I literally cannot see what's happening, and that was that. So now, in the most basic terms, even if it breaks the level, and then it reclaims it back again, and then it provides another entry. So this is again basics of trading. Obviously, I was not in the right state of mind to have any sort of anything inside me, any objectivity inside me that could actually see what's happening. And while this was happening, this thing was going in my head. Now what do I do? It broke the level, but now it's back again. Is this my entry or is this not? And because the process and the system is so simple, this is clearly it. But at the time, I was completely blinded. My judgment was clouded, and everything that was going through my head was based on whether this trade will work and I will make money, or I will make my losses back, rather than is this my edge and should I put risk on, because this is how I objectively define my edge, and I should not pick and choose. And that ended up happening. I missed both of these, so I missed everything that would have worked out today, and picked one that I should and did not, which is okay, and picked one that I should not have and still did. And here we are now. Now at this point of time, even though I'm only down 20 points, 2 trades, seeing all this now, I'm in such a the mental reserve is just depleting, and it's getting really hard because I'm sitting patiently, but the sitting patiently is not really for acting on my edge. I'm sitting patiently because I want to make money, and there's a big difference in that. I'm sitting patiently to find a trade where I'm 100% certain that I will make money, and that kind of mindset is the root cause of all the problems. And now that I think about it, that I've reviewed my entire journal after the session, and now that I talk about it and I think about it, it's just absolutely what I did, how I performed, is just absolutely mind-boggling to me at this point of time. But things happen, and bad things happen today. I made a lot of mistakes. So missed all my good trades here because I started picking and choosing. And then once we had all of this intense selling at the open after looking at the price high, and then consolidating just within this initial buy region, and then here, now it's here for almost 2 hours, and then it breaks down. And it breaks down and it comes into my main level, but obviously the selling is strong. It forms kind of a flag, a B, if you will see on the market profile, suggesting long liquidation at the highs. But then it breaks down again, and I buy it right here. And this is, even though it fits the simple process, so I'm fine that I took this trade, but there's so many things against it, and I took 2 of them, one right after the other. So they fit the system, but there were so many things against them intraday contextual basis. So yeah, at this point of time, because I said I need to get back to following the system, I did follow the system, so I'm not concerned by losing on these 2 trades, because if I would not have taken this and these would have worked out. I would have said the same thing again, picking and choosing. But it's the thing that with picking and choosing, because I picked and chose earlier during the session, and I picked and chose the wrong ones. And it's the thing, now that I did not pick and choose, it was just unfortunately the ones that did not work out. And that was the end of it. And now I see there was this nice exhaustive push here. Which is why I took the first test. I also took the second test, and then I just let it be for some time because I've already lost 4 times, and it's just way too many, and I don't take those many tries. But now again, the main the main thing why my plan wasn't really good today is it creates dissonance between my two levels now that we are in between them. So should I go long from here and go higher, or should I go short from here now that we are under this level? And this is where I think I need to really something that I should really take away today, that I shouldn't really be putting all the levels possible on my chart. I really need to find a process where I can rank and distill them and just keep the best ones there for the best opportunities. Focus on the bigger picture context, and then put my levels on the chart that makes sense, rather than having every single thing to try to take every single trade. Really good lesson out today to have, even though the levels they kind of work, but they still need to be improved where there's less dissonance, where there's more clarity, that if you take a trade, you take a process based trade, and if you lose, you lose. If you win, you win. So eventually, of course, the level did end up working. It's just way too many tries, way too choppy for me to have kept trying. And that was that. I did not do anything here. Now it's just pure frustration that the plan's not clear enough. The level's working, but not as quiet. And I'm in the headspace. I've already had 4 losses, down about 40 points or whatever. And here we are. And now at 3:30, I just really want to make some of the loss back. And again, it's the same thing, because the plan is not clear. There's so much dissonance by looking at just this execution chart. Ended up taking this long here, stopped out, and it did run. I did not take this one because now I had 5 losses. I just gave up at this point of time. And that was that. I made so many deviations from the process, made so many mistakes. Now they're like clearly evident, very clearly visible that there were such stupid mistakes. But honestly, on the hard right edge, with all those emotions inside my head, at least for today, it was really awful, to say the least. Regardless, we all have bad days. Even though I've made similar kind of mistakes before, I'm happy that the mistakes are not exactly the same. So before I was making mistakes because I had no process at all, and now I'm making newer mistakes, so different kind of mistakes. After that, I had some sort of process. So obviously, there will always be mistakes that happen, and I need to keep working on them, keep on improving them, to create a better system and to create a better mindset for myself, where I can just objectively follow the system. I was able to do that yesterday, Monday. Had a decent session because of that, and then today, for some reason or the other, I was just not something took me away from all of my objectivity, and I ended up paying for it with 50 NQ points. Really, really bad. And then while I was having all of these nightmarish kind of situation on the NQ, I completely left ES behind. It was really, really slow and really, really choppy anyway, but this did give quality process-based setups. Again, I did not take, so picking and choosing, but somehow I picked all the wrong ones and left all the right ones. This was also something that I was thinking about yesterday, but yesterday I did some sort of picking and choosing, especially in my trade management. But that thing worked out because yesterday I was really able to stay objective, stay clear, and let go of the outcomes of the individual trades that I took yesterday. And that was the biggest difference today, that today I was invested in the outcome of every single trade that I took after the very first trade in the morning. And because I was so invested in the individual outcome of every single trade, what I was seeing was so much different to what was actually happening. And yeah, that was that. So definitely a day full of mistakes, but mistakes are the things that will show me the holes in my process, the holes in my mindset, and the areas that I need to improve upon. Obviously, now it's up to me to go and do the work, to not keep repeating the same mistakes. Make new ones, absolutely fine. Just not make the same one again. We will see how I do on this tomorrow. Hopefully, I don't make the same mistakes again. I will be putting some improvement plans or some hinges that I can anchor upon and do not make the same mistake. And then we will see if that helps or if that doesn't. Yeah, hopefully I do not make the same mistake again. Make new ones, learn from them, absolutely fine. Just do not repeat this. And that's it for today. Awesome.